So, welcome back. And this topic will talk about the cooperating activity in the two Korea communities, ONOS user group and the ONOS core working group. The speaker is Yang Chun from OpenStack community. Please welcome.
Hello everyone. My English name is Ian and my Korean name is Choi-Young-na. And I'm currently running OpenStack Korea user group as a leader with several organizers. And also I'm contributing OpenStack as a translator, but not only just a translation, but also some infrastructure things, how to merge translations into many open sources in OpenStack. Also, I was a PTL project team lead for previous 1 year, and also actually in Korea I'm doing so many various community activities, not only OpenStack but also the collaboration with Korea local communities like ONOS Korea user group, and also I'm serving as a Microsoft most MVP in cloud and data center area, management area. And today I would like to briefly introduce OpenStack Korea user group. The user group is very big in Korea, and also we collaborate a lot with ONOS Korea user group because ONOS also focus on network management and software-defined networking, and also those topics are very hot in OpenStack. And also I would like to tell something how collaborated previously with between OpenStack Korea user group and ONOS Korea user group for not only some technical aspect but also some community aspect. And also, I would like to briefly say, how can we more collaborate and make good synergy? So, actually, OpenStack Korea user group was formed in 2011 when I was in Pohang, which was very far from Seoul. At that time, I didn't know the existence of Korea user group. After going back to Seoul, and then after finding some friends or some members who are interested in cloud computing, and then I've got more involved in OpenStack Korea user group. And at the time, Jae-Seok An, he was the initiator and also the first lead in Korea user group, and Nari Jang, she was the second leader, and from this year I'm leading Korea user group as a third leader with many organizers. And here is the main homepage, and also in Facebook there are more than 5,000 members, and we do very many interesting activities. Not also having technical seminars almost every month, but also we annually hold a big OpenStack days in Korea. About 1,000 attendees are coming for this event, and also to encourage learning OpenStack, and then I and other organizers organize study groups occasionally. So, and this is the organization chart in Korea user group. And I'm leading this group, and also the vice leader now works in NHN Entertainment. It's a big company, also a big company in Korea, as in cloud computing area. And the company also run OpenStack. And also, the previous leader, Narijang, was the previous leader, and she helps a lot for everything. For example, not only just how to run local meetups, but also how to we're more familiar with cloud computing topics, and also global part. It mainly focus on the collaboration and communication with other local user groups. For example, Japan user group, Taiwan user group, China user group, and so on, and also OpenStack Foundation. And networking group focuses on the more informal collaboration. For example, after local seminar, and then they usually gather people to and go to some restaurant and drink and cheers and so on. And for technology part, in technology part, they focus on having many seminars as much as possible. And for study part, and this part is important to emphasize study activities in Korea. So we would like to make study activities public as much as possible. Yeah, this is the long history in Korea user group. And we actually say that we formed in 2011, but OpenStack was formed in 2010, July. After that, OpenStack haven't evolved very much. The first OpenStack release version is called Austin, and then we usually say that for Android version, we usually say Eclair, Flow, Gingerbread, Honeycomb, and so on. So like this, OpenStack version release was evolved from alphabetical order, A, B, C, D, F, G, and so on. And now, last month, Pike OpenStack release there was Pike release on last August. So I would like to emphasize that OpenStack Korea user group has been evolved with the evolving OpenStack. So OpenStack was evolving very much, and also Korea user group has been very large, and so on. So and then I would like to say then how I do many activities. So this is the third generation. I started as a leader from this year January, and then first of all, I would like to emphasize that I would like to more think how to change some transition. It means that actually this is the first generation with a first leader, and this period was for the second generation. Each generation has some different culture. So for third generation, I would like to emphasize what is our culture. It will be very similar with ONOS Korea user group, because I know who is currently a leader in ONOS Korea user group, but I'm sure that he will be locked out. He might be born after 1, 2, or 3 years. And at the time, then some new leader needs to come. And the new guy needs to run ONOS Korea user group. So first of all, with such thinking, then I first think that it is very important to have a smooth transition for future generations. It is a general tendency that after changing some leaders, and then many active members has gone, with other group, or they might be interested in other things, and so on. So I would like to have many meetings as much as possible with old buy and new buys, old timers and new buys, and also I would like to find a future organization candidate who will be more active in third generation. Sorry. And also, I would like to emphasize that upstream contribution is very important. It's also very similar in ONOS Korea user group, because in my opinion, that to have strong culture in a user group, and then not only just contribution, but also some operating activities would need to be balanced. But in Korea, unfortunately, most contribution activities have not been so emphasized, under-evaluated. So I would like to emphasize that Korea, many company members and also university students, graduate students can contribute very easily in OpenStack world. So it will be very similar with ONOS Korea user group, but I think some main difference would be that the background, general domain knowledge in ONOS code would be more in-depth comparing to OpenStack. But and also I would like to say that such meetups are not just limited to seminars. Then I usually have group activities. So for example, this is a kind of upstream training. It means that I would like to say how to contribute OpenStack with Garrett, and also some bug management. So in ONOS, I think ONOS also use Garrett and also Jira as bug management. So such activities are very important to encourage upstream contribution. And also, I would like to contact many other local Korea communities, like ONOS Korea user group. And then I would like to ask that is there some interesting event this month or next month, and so on. And also, I tightly collaborate with Wood Korea community, and also Korea Azure user group. And also, it's very interesting logo, and the English meaning is system.out.coding. Code is not important for regardless or and so on. And anyway, I would like to contact many local communities as much as possible. Then I would like to listen many feedback, and then sometimes I learned some local meetups with those kind of groups. And so this is the general introduction for OpenStack Korea user group, comparing ONOS Korea user group. And also now I would like to emphasize, I would like to say how I have tried to collaborate with, but also SDN, because although how can I say, OpenStack is formed with many different components. It means that in OpenStack we have, for example, Nova. Each not related with computer network and so on. And OpenStack also has another component, Neutron. But in this component, it's very tightly related with ONOS and code, because the aim is Neutron component in OpenStack is to manage network very well in OpenStack. So, but however, in Korea, many companies have not known what is software-defined networking, and also why network management is important, and how we can manage network by software. At the time, there was no ONOS. But however, I participated in such meetup topic, And on January 2015, then I had a presentation with how to manage OpenStack network using SDN, and I took an example with you, another SDN controller. And also another guy emphasized that to explain software-defined network very easy by comparing some East Asian cultures. For example, this is the background is the map between China, Korea, Japan, and so on. And then he would like to, he wanted to mention there are many big companies and such. So then they found that it is very easy. And on fall 2015, then I had learned some study activities. And it's because that most Korean members have not known what is software-defined networking and how to experience software-defined networking. And in this study, then there are, as far as I remember, there were 6 different topics. One topic was for hypervisor management, and the second topic was container management, and like this. And one important topic was how to manage network in OpenStack. And this group emphasized how to compare some network architectures and components which can be used in OpenStack. In OpenStack Neutron, we can use not only just ONOS, but also we can use OpenVSwitch and Linux Bridge and so on. And these components can be managed in OpenStack as a ML2. It is called modular layer 2. And it means that in network there are 7 different layers called OSI 7. And then in OpenStack world, then neutron contributors have found that have made flexibility. So in module layer 2, there are not only type drivers such as GRE tunneling, VLAN, and so on, but also mechanism drivers. It is how to implement the OpenStack network using Linux Bridge, OpenVSwitch, software-defined networking using ONOS, software-defined networking using OpenNAV, and so on. So many repositories, but in OpenStack there is one official repository for ONOS. It's called OpenStack with ONOS SDN controller. So at the time they searched in real source code and they analyzed how to implement with ONOS SDN controller. And built open sources by taking an example in OpenStack. For the general contribution workflow, OpenStack and ONOS are very similar. So many people at the time, about 15 or 12 members attended, and then I took an example how to contribute ONOS. Although I have not contributed any sources in ONOS, but I am very familiar with ONOS contribution workflow because it's very similar with OpenStack contribution workflow. So then I would like to tell them what more similarities between OpenStack Korea user group and ONOS Korea user group. It is not limited. The first thing I would like to say then, the general, general organization, general governance between local user group and the main leaders. For example, in ONOS, there ON.Lab has led, and then it was merged by ON.Lab. But anyway, there are many Korean ambassadors. When I searched today, I found 6 ambassadors, much more ambassadors, because in Korea there is only one ambassador. So it means that ONOS is very active in Korea. And also, then we have translation issues. In OpenStack, I have contributed translation a lot, so I know lots of issues, translation issues. And also in ONOS, there are so many translation issues. That this was one project called Lion. IO is very similar to 1.0. So it's localization, and also the web UI is very similar. So it means the contribution mechanism also will be very similar. And also we have technology and domain similarity, as I already mentioned. OpenStack neutral focus on network management, and also ONOS also focus on how to well manage network components. And also, as I told, that there are Gary and Jenkins are very similar in OpenStack and ONOS. So then, for the conclusion, I would like to mention that how to make a big collaboration between communities. In OpenStack, I would North Sun River, and this is South Sun River, and then the water flows from upstream, downstream to mainstream, and then the mainstream flows to the sea, and the water evaporates, and then it comes back to upper and downstream. So it means that those things can be compared as upstream activities. Code contribution, documentation, translation, and so on, bug fix, and so on. And these activities can be compared as downstream activities, such as installation, deployment, feedback, and so on. By merging this, then many people can use, and then those can be a feedback for upstream and downstream. So this is my understanding of local user group activities, and I think for ONOS local user group, the flow can be very similar. Then this flow can be very easily applied. So and then this such kind of flows can make very nice synergy with OpenStack Korea user group and also ONOS user group. So this is my end of presentation, and thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
You mentioned you compared the ambassador program of ONOS and OpenStack. So you mentioned there's one ambassador for OpenStack in Korea. Is that correct?
Pardon? Sorry.
You mentioned you compared the ambassadors of ONOS and
Yes.
the ambassador of OpenStack.
Yes.
And I see I think you said there's one ambassador only for OpenStack for Korea, all of Korea.
Yes.
And is that the same for all over the world? Every country just has one ambassador for OpenStack?
Actually, as far as I know, in ONOS there are more than 60 ambassadors, as far as I know. But in OpenStack, there are about 30 ambassadors. So the number is much lower than ONOS. And also, those ambassadors usually have some important messages to local community members and encourage how to involve in community activities. However, as far as I know, those ambassadors are very strong because they also contribute so many open source upstream sources a lot. But in OpenStack world, as far as I know, almost about half of people just contribute source contributions.
So, any questions? Thanks. Thank you very much. Next speaker. next speaker is Guangfen Man from Nokia, and he will talk about the dynamic defragmentation software-defined optical networks. Welcome.
Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kwon. I am R&D engineer in Nokia Biala, France. So today I would like to talk about one of our optical use case, which is the dynamic defragmentation in the optical network. Here's the main points of my presentation. First of all, I would like to talk about the toggle software-defined wavelength switch connections, and I would go to why we need the dynamic reconfiguration in the optical networks, and how we do the defragmentation in optical network, and some of the performance tests that we have done, and also some of the extensions that we have done based on ONOS to enable the defragmentation application. So what we have today, so basically the optical network is mean like when you deploy an optical network, and this optical an optical channel on light path basically, and when we deploy this optical channel, this optical channel never gonna be changed or reconfiguration or do anything. So for that we need to really provide a very big guarantees with a very large margin, enable to guarantee the very good quality of service, and also the aging problem. Optical channel can be stay in the network for the few years in advance. And another thing is the deployment of the service in the optical network today takes a month or several months at least. And we are looking for the future. So hopefully in the future, with the software-defined optical network, the future optical network will be defined dry and continuously adjust the configuration basis on the network state and the changing of the network day by day. And the second one is since we can the future optical network provide a programmable, so we can reconfigure the optical network at any time that we want. So we just need to configure our optical channel to work with enough byte value to this optical network can stay in the network for a long time, because basically we can monitor the optical network adjusting, adapting, and make sure that we can guarantee the quality of service. Left side. So for example, if we have the optical percent under duty lasers, and in the future optical network with the advance of the flexible grid, so we can allocate just enough the spectrum resource for the requirement of the network. For example, if we have an application is divided into two main steps. The first one is basically step one. This means you have the current optical channel setting. So you apply that routing and spectrum allocation to calculate to minimize the spectrum occupancy of the current path setting. Then we have the optimized optical channel setting. And the second step, like you can see in the current optical setting, we have the connection B, and in the optimal one is migrate to the this position of the resource, and it's gonna take the result of the connection A. So for migrate the B to this new position here, basically we need to break A. And another hand is the result, the in the new the optimized setting, the results of the article A gonna take the result of the B. So you have the nerve of the dependency, like B depends on A and A depends on B. So the first step of the second step is to like minimize the try to find the max the best sequence of the live path migration in order to minimize the subscription time. So the first step, the application gonna calculate based on the current live path setting and the optimized setting to calculate the dependency. So you can see which live path depends on which one, and then from that we apply the minimum feedback vertex set algorithm to build and modify its dependency. Basically the objective, like you want to break one of the loop, like you need to define the which live path you gonna apply the make the break before make. Like usually with the connection, when you apply the make before break, so you don't have the service dispersion time in this case. And once we have the modified dependency graph, you're gonna apply the genetic algorithm, which is the meta heuristic algorithm, to find the best sequence of the optical channel to be migrated. And the network disruption time will be minimized also. We have done application. We did some performance study in terms of the scalability of the application. We did a simulation based on the European network with 28 nodes and 43 links, and we increased the number of the optical channel. So with the 100 optical channel, the application are able to solve the problem, provide the best sequence of live path migration, including the computation time of the current live path setting to the optimized one in 4 seconds. And when we go with the 500 optical channel, is gonna take like almost 100 seconds. I mean 1.5 minutes. So I would like to talk about some extension that we have done based on the ONOS 1.7 to enable the develop the application. So the main part is we have done some open flow extension. We have wrote our drivers enable to control the Nokia device. And this part we're gonna contribute to the back to the ONOS. We have developed the kind of what we call the monitoring intent. So the monitoring intent basically enable the application can subscribe to monitor the whatever optical parameter that he wants. And as I said before, we have developed the GeoMQ for subscriber and publisher mechanism. We extend some REST API enabled to control the bandwidth variable transceiver of the Nokia, and we extend a bit on the UI enabled to have the visualization of the optical resource. This is our database. So we build a control plane based on microservices. So the core is the NES Unix controller, which is a very big project inside the Nokia Labs. So the NES Unix controller is mainly based on the ONOS controller, and we did a lot of extension, improvement, enhancement based on the ONOS. And on top of the controller, we have defined and developed a set of the optical application. For example, we have the routing and spectrum assignment application, the depigmentation application, the restoration, the protection, and the QT monitoring application. So this one already shown in the ECO conference in 2016. That's one we have service in the OFC conference last year in LA. And we for many for the server protocol we are using the OpenFlow protocol, and we most of the extension have done beyond the LinkOE, and we also integrated our let's say hardware driver inside the LinkOE and make the link with the OpenFlow inside the LinkOE. So basically the controller can control really our hardware through the LinkOE. And so now I'm gonna talk about a little bit about some of OpenFlow extension that we have done. So we all know that the current ONOS, I think the latest one doesn't support OpenFlow 1.5, right? Not yet. The latest, okay, yeah. So most of the work that we have done is based on ONOS 1.7. So at this moment, basically it doesn't support the 1.5. So even with the 1.5, we have like many flow mod message to configure layer 0 table, but basically you only configure the filter and the optical switch. It means you just configure the switch part, but it doesn't enable you to configure the BVT or the bandwidth variable, which is the source of the optical connection, or the destination, which is the receiver. And the pop message that you can configure the taste power and the central frequency. Some of the statistics messages allow you to receive the monitoring information like taste power, ice power, transmitter power, receiver power, temperature, bias current, and all the monitoring parameters return as one. So which means when you send one request and you will receive all of this information. It doesn't allow you to filter just the